for tuning in again. It's your host, Reverend Rehab Mwangi. I'm glad you have tuned back again. Thank you. Welcome to Real Talk Show. Is where life are being transformed. Today, as I promised you, I have brought a guest. I have a very wonderful guest, a very important and a special person to me. I want you to keep tuned, stay tuned. You will learn something. We'll be learning different topics about kids, about adults, about how to overcome, how to work with your children. And now I've brought a guest. You hear his story and you're going to learn something. You're going to learn something very, very important. I've listened to his story and trust you me, you're going to benefit. May God bless you. Our guest will introduce himself. Stay tuned, stay connected. It's Real Talk Show. Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
I appreciate. My name is Reverend James Mwangi, and I'm blessed.
Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Hi, Reverend James Mwangi. Before we continue, before I ask you a question about your growing up and how parents can improve, and what makes kids do what they do, tell us a bit about your background. Yes, you said you're Reverend James Mwangi. Where was Pastor James born? Where is he from?
Well, I was born from Kenya. I moved to this country, United Kingdom, when I was age of 9 there. So, came here.
9 years.
Yeah.
9 years must be a very. It's like you're born here. You only know UK. In short, you only know UK. Life in UK more. You know UK more than Kenya. So, and that's why I brought you to this show. I want you to help a mother. To help understand a child, to help understand, and I want you to tell a story about how was your childhood, what kind of things affected you, what kind of things made you proud, what kind of things made you feel like doing the opposite of what you're supposed to do.
Well, it began with the influence. So, growing up, you see, people the way they're dressing, you want to be part of them. So I remember when I never used to have those kind of things where, to stand out. So for me to stand out, I have to do so many things in life where I have to fit in with my friends. Because most of the time they used to laugh at you, the way you're dressing, your trainers, because you're not wearing the latest fashion, so they begin to laugh at you.
So when you said it made you do things, what kind of things are you talking about? So we can make our viewer understand. What kind of things did this push you to do?
Well, I start stealing, selling, to sell things like I would steal maybe CD player, Walkman, and all those things, and I would begin to sell to my friends to make money, so that I can be able to fit in.
So at what age did this stealing start? Because
I started at the age of 11, start stealing.
Wow.
Because I wanted to fit in. It all started in high school. Because in high school, that's when everybody wants to be popular.
Cool.
They want to look cool. You want to fit in. You want to be in this, group that is well known and everybody love. So you want to fit in that group.
Yes.
So you will do all sort of things so that you can fit in.
Our viewers, you can hear that when your kid is not standing out, they are forced to go and start stealing. My guest today, he was forced to go and steal because he wanted to fit in. So I want you to stay tuned and listen to more story and when he grew, if he upgraded. So we need to stay tuned and listen to his story. Today is about him, and let's see how we can transform and change the kids we are bringing up of today. So at age of 11, wow.
So at the age of 11, that's when I start stealing. I start, people start making orders like, oh, can you get me CD player? Can you get me the Walkman?
Now you became a distributor.
Yeah. So I start making money that way.
Yeah.
Stealing. Sometimes I'll, steal mobile phones, sell them, so that I can fit in.
Yes.
To wear the latest trainers.
Gap. There was a gap. So how did your mom not find out? Did she not see this? Or were you hiding? Were you too good at this?
I was hiding things like, for example, I used to steal mobile phones and I would hide them on the top of the kitchen cupboard so she would not know. So there's one, every time I'll keep changing phone and like, why keep changing phone like that? I said, oh, I just found them on the bus. But she didn't know I was stealing. She didn't know that, I was robbing. I was, into all those kind of stuff. So it was very difficult. So for me to have a latest mobile phone, I had to steal from somebody so that I can fit in, so that people can say, oh, you got a really cool, nice phone.
Yeah.
So that's how I started, because my friends, they were dressing all cool, you know, they're having the latest trainers, and he wanted to fit in. You know, yes, my parents, they were working, but it came to a point where, you know, they didn't want to spend that much money, you know, buying trainers, because they have their own, you know,
they have other things
to do.
Yeah.
So it becomes really hard where they don't want to, you know, do all those kind of things, you know, but I start stealing because I couldn't get what I wanted at home. You know, when you ask my mom, she said, "Oh, I don't have money. You know, money. I have to do other things." So it became hard. So that's when I went into stealing, but she didn't know. So I started wearing different trainers. You know, all the latest, you know, fashion out there. My friend like, "Oh, this day you're looking different." But even my friend, they didn't know. But when they start knowing that, I start stealing. Because sometimes I walk into the shop and I found out, you know, I didn't see you buy anything. How come you got that with you now? So that's when they began to know that I steal. So that's when they start making orders. "Oh, can you get me this, you know, CD player? Can you get me this Walkman?" You know.
So you start looking for side hustle, how you make money and sustain yourself. So so it's very, very crucial for parents to provide for their kids. What if the parents cannot provide? Let's say like now your mom maybe could not, you know, provide at that time whatever you wanted, not because she didn't have, but maybe she had other, you know, other things to do. So, you know, what can a parent do today? Like, there are parents who cannot even afford, but these kids, well, how can we do this? Because life is expensive.
The thing is, the reason why maybe my parents, they were struggling with that, because there were like 8 of us at that time. You know, for, you know, to buy every children what they want was very difficult. You know, so
it's kind of expensive.
It's expensive for all of us, you know, in one go.
But if you're 8 kids, I have 3. I struggle, so we take turns.
Yeah,
we take turns. So it's can be a bit, and I understand. And even in our family, we are quite many. Wow. So you graduated. They start making orders. Now you became the main.
Yeah. So I was just, you know, they will ask me for things and I will get for them. So it came to a point where, you know, you just have to sacrifice. You know, speak to your children. You know, today it'll be his turn, tomorrow it'll be you. Like that. You just take turns until you have something where they can, you know, feel like they've been appreciated. But don't just leave it like that. "Oh, because I can't afford, there are too many of you."
It's gonna be difficult. That they understand.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard. My mom always tried to explain, "Oh, you know, you need to understand life is difficult," but because
there was a pressure,
you know, there's a pressure
at the
where you want to fit in.
So your mom had a good communication skills, but there's still a pressure, but you could not keep up with the pressure. The pressure forced you to go to steal. So at what point did you now decide? I'm sure there was a turning back. There was a point where you felt like, "No, this is too much. I need to stop stealing."
Well, it continued because it was getting like every day you want the latest fashion, latest trainers.
And fashion
so
never
it
ends.
continued to I was age of 17. You know, from 11 to the age of 17, that's when I start, you know, knowing that, you know, the life that I'm living, I need to change. I can't live like this. Because it came to a point where, you know, even before I stopped stealing, it came to a point where now my friend introduced me to one guy. You know, he said, "Oh," because he was looking for someone to sell drugs for them. So he gave me some drugs to sell to him at school. And it came to a point where, you know, it was not even, you know, proper drugs, because he was tested to see if that, you know, that I'm going to be, you know, faithful to him, like, you know. So I was selling to friends, and it came to a point that, you know, this guy was selling fake stuff. And I was like, "No, this is gonna, you know, it's gonna cost me my life, because now I'm selling, making money, and at the same time I was eating the money." So it came to a point where now the friends I was selling the drugs to, they came to find out that was not really, you know, real thing, because they could not get buzz out of it. So when they found out was, so they came again for another round. They wanted to see what exactly was in it. When they found out was not really, you know, drugs, this, you know, they wanted to really beat me up, you know. So, "Why are you selling us fake things? We want our money back." So it came to a point through that where the guy, when I went to the guy, he was asking me for money. I said, "No, I don't have money." You know, he said, what happened? I was like, "No, I couldn't sell anything." So it came to a point where I told my friend, the person who was giving me the drugs. So they knew him. So it came to a point now, it was like a big battles. And I knew that my life was in danger. So I stopped doing that kind of hustle. I said, "Let me just steal and just do my own thing so that I can live the way I want to live." because there's a time where, you know, you need to top up your phone, you know, you want to fit in, you know. So I used to top up my phone. So my friend, like, oh, this day you got credit. So, you know, you start fitting in with that group, like, you know, you have this, you know. So sometimes it became really hard for me. So when my parents could not provide that, it was very difficult. It came to a point where I just start stealing, you know, that was my addiction. I could not come out of it, even when I tried to stop, you know. So every time I go even to sleep, you know, I'm thinking, tomorrow, what time is the shop gonna open so that I can go and steal? From that point, even outside, that people start knew that I steal. So it came to a point they start making orders from outside, you know, friends from other friends. They start making orders from different school. So that's how I used to make my money to wear the latest trainers, you know, the latest clothes. And it came to a point where you tell your parents it's difficult. So it came to a point where I start stealing. That's when, you know, it was difficult for me to come up. So all I want to encourage the parents is that, you know, be there for your children. If they want the latest trainers, I know it's difficult sometimes. Maybe you have more children and thinking, how can I afford? And I've got, you know, this kind of children around. I remember there's a time where I was working in this shop, and I was working, and one parent came. They wanted to buy a Christmas present, and one of the child was like, "Hey, Dad, I want this coat." So the dad like, looked at the price, and the price tag was saying 250. I said, "If I buy you this, what about your brother?" So two of you is gonna cost me 500 in one day. So he said, "No, let's go to another shop." So I understand some things can become expensive. You know, you can just take turns. You know, talk to that child, let them not understand this, that, you know, this is how it goes.
What about the children? I think we also need to address the children, because how can they be satisfied, or how can they be content? Let's say my parents don't have it. How can I fit, you know, like accept myself? I think the best thing is to accept yourself that I don't have it. Yeah, there's a pressure outside, but is there a way somebody can live without all these things?
Well, it depends, because
or you're going to be bullied.
It's kind of hard, because I remember when my dad you know, he bought me trainers, the latest trainers, and it came to a point I went to school with it, and my friend could notice there's something new, because now he bought me a really expensive one. Because when I used to steal, I never used to make that much money to get the the latest model, the one that is on top market. But I will at least, you know, go for the one that is nobody will laugh at you. So I remember when he bought me that kind of trainers, you know, in school, when you line up to go to the class, people are like, "Whoa, did you, you know, steal the bank, or rob the bank, or did your parents win lottery or something?" So they will begin to laugh, because they're thinking now you can afford it, because before now they can see a difference. And that's why, you know, it becomes hard when you wear the latest, you know, trainers out, or people begin to notice. So that those children, they want to maintain that, you know, you know, that standard where, you know, my friend can notice, you know, I'm wearing the latest, you know, Air Max.
And even us adults, it's the same thing. Adults, nobody wants to wear nice clothes. We all dress up. You're like, "Oh, I have the latest." You feel nice. You feel worthy. You feel comfortable. You see, when you're dressed, you feel good. And when you haven't dressed very well, you kind of feel you're laid back. You know, you feel like, "I don't belong here." So have you ever gone to somewhere everybody's dressed up, and then you it's not that you don't have, you know, is another thing. You are not dressed up because you have, you know, there's a time you just feel like, "I'm not going to dress up." There's a time you feel like you'd go somewhere, people are wearing expensive things, but you can't afford it. You feel like, you know, you don't feel nice. Wow. My viewers, you've heard that, how not being fitting can push someone to stealing. And these are the same thing we've been talking about. When you don't provide your kids, it pushes them to stealing. You know, as I said, we are raising kings, we are raising queens. Please, let's provide for them. If you cannot, please try to explain to them. And and if you're working, I always say, please provide, because that's why you're waking up every morning, you're going to work. Wow. So now at age 11, at 17 you stopped. Did your mom, I want to know if your mom ever found out, or your dad, that this kid is stealing, and what did they do about it?
Well,
or
they never knew until when I started getting saved. They started hearing my testimony. That's when they really found out, oh, so you used to live that kind of life.
Wow.
So they were really shocked. They never knew, because I was that kind of person. Even though I was out there, I used to be quiet, keep myself, you know, not to get into trouble. You know,
you're stealing.
But I'm stealing. But I'm trying to steal in a sly way where I will not get caught.
So hold on. All this time, you are doing what your parents never find out. So you mean there could be kids who are doing things at home, they're somebody else, but outside they are somebody else. So parents, you need to understand that your kid can live a lie. At home, they are the holiest of holy. At home, they are good kids. But outside, and that's what I told you last time, spy on them. Spy on them. Sometimes go after school, drive, find out what are they doing. Spy on your kid, so that way you'll be able to have a clue of what your children are doing. Because some of them are very smart. You heard them, they're very smart. Until he came out giving testimony, that's why everybody's like, how? You're the quiet one. You're the one laid back. So you mean you're doing this? Stay tuned as we continue to hear his stories and how he overcame. Wow. At 17, you overcame.
Yep.
Was it easy? You know, because, you know, when you're addicted, I remember one time you told me that sometimes your mom will even give you pocket money, but you still steal.
Yep.
So that's how bad it is.
That's how bad it is, because you don't want to spend that money.
Yeah.
You know, because you feel like, this money is gonna go, it was gonna finish quickly. So you're trying to save up at the same time. So she will, sometimes she will give pocket money, but it will not be enough.
Yeah.
Because you want more. Because out there, you know, the pressure is too high. You know, people want to see you, you know, so they can fit in. You don't want to be wearing, you know, different clothes where and the other kids are looking cool, and you are the one that is, you know, all different. So you have to fit in the way people can say, oh, this guy, you know, is one of us. But if you don't do that, you don't feel like you're outsider. You don't fit in. And
you're saying the truth, because I remember one time we were a group of girls, and we used to walk together all the time. We used to talk, sit down, sometimes talk. And I remember one time they said they're not going to walk with a certain girl because she doesn't know how to dress up.
Yeah.
So even girls don't want to walk with people who don't know how to dress up. They feel like they're being embarrassed.
Yeah.
That this guy is embarrassing us. We're not going to walk with it. So that kid become rejected. You feel rejected. Feel like I'm not loved. I'm not wanted. You know, and we're living in a different world, in a different society where people love you for what you have.
Yeah.
People love you for what you have.
Yeah, it's true, because that's when, you know, when I realized this, you know, it's getting difficult. It came to a point where I said, when, you know, the only thing that made me to overcome is when I got saved, where I didn't care about, you know, who's wearing what, you know, the latest, you know, trainers. That didn't really bother me anymore, because I knew that, you know, if they're really my friends, they will like me for who I am, not because of my clothes, not because of the latest fashion. If they're really my close friends. So it came to a point where, you know, I just got saved, and that's when I gave my life to Christ. Now, even my friends, they start seeing a different, but I will not walk with my friends at that time, because, you know, you really want to be close to God. So it became to a point where I had to stop. I like, this kind of life that I'm living is not good. And it came to a point where the reason why I even changed is because, you know, I used to have this, you know, vision, and sometimes, you know, something will speak to me and say, if you continue this way, the road that you're living, you know, you're going to find yourself in prison, you're going to find yourself even worse, or even, you know, anything can happen. So I'm like, no, I don't want to go that way. So it came to a point where the first time I got arrested, and the reason why I got arrested is because I was with my friends, and they did something and I didn't know. But because I was with them, therefore we were together. So I got arrested, went to this police, you know, station, and I was locked in a room where I like, no, if this what, you know, prison life is like, and this is only a cell, I don't want to be in it. I don't want to live that kind of life. So that's when I said, no, I need to change. I need to change my friends. I need to live right. That's when I was able to stop. Yeah. Because I knew it was the road I'm living is not good. So I started changing my ways slowly.
So maybe there's someone who's watching. There's a child, there's a kid, there's a parent, there's a kid who's watching, and they can't stop stealing. It's an addiction. To them, stealing is an addiction. There's a story that goes, you know, you can, a thief or someone who steals, even if you make meat, a nice meat, he visits you and you say, this is yours. When you go to the kitchen, they'll still eat a bit, and they'll feel satisfied. They never feel satisfied until they steal. Yeah. So how can they overcome it? And I know you mentioned God, you know, God is all the source of our power. They need, not as well, that's another thing. Don't care about what people say. I know we live in a society where not caring is a bit difficult, but you have to be that kind of a person. Like, you don't care. I don't care. I'm going to live my life. My mom can't afford it. I'm not affording it. I'm going to live my life. Yeah, wow, that's a great testimony. Until 17, I'm sure.
It's difficult because I remember what helped me as well is I used to have this friend of mine. You know, he used to live a life where money is his own business. So, but when he found out that I was stealing, you know, doing this, so he came to a point where he was playing football and somebody stole one of his expensive stuff. And he began to say, it's not good what they did to him. And like, you know, whoever did that, what goes around comes around. So he used to tell me that I need to stop doing it because what goes around comes around.
Yeah.
So I was like, nah, it will not happen to me. So it came to a point where I used to still rob people, you know, mobile phones and all those things. It happened to me when I was walking home. Now I'm coming from football. Now I remember what my friend was telling me, what goes around comes around. So when the guy got me in the corner, because I thought he was going to pass me by. So he was riding the bike and I said, let me move away from him. So he stopped the bike quick, pushed me in a dark alley where nobody would see anything, took my phone, everything that I had in my pocket, money, and he said, if you resist, you know, I'm gonna kill you, I'm gonna take your life away. So I like, let me just give it, you know, whatever, because this is not really worth it.
So
you know,
everything that you used to do to others now happened to you.
It happened to me, and
so
it was
how did you
worse.
feel that time when it happened to you? Because you know, when you steal from someone, you don't feel anything, but when it happens to you, how did it feel?
That's when I knew that, so this person, he's been feeling pain, because it was so painful, because this what I had is when I bought it with my own money, you know, in the right way. So when he took it from me, it was very painful. That's when I like, so what I used to do it to others, this was the same way they were feeling, like, you know, it's not fair, you know, how can I do
when this happened to you, this person came to steal from you, were you after you born again or before?
No, I was still stealing, but at that time, you know, I was trying to stop, because when I was listening to my friend, like, what maybe he's saying is true, but it's until that day, that night, when I started saying, no, I need to change my way as well, because it's not fair.
So he said, if you resist, he'll kill you.
Yeah.
So you decided just to give it to him.
I was so angry, I was so upset, and this is the time where I wanted to give my life to Christ, and I start complaining, God, you know, where are you, God? You know, if you really love me, because people have been stopping me in the streets telling me, God really loves you, he wants to change you.
So you mean you were thinking about changing, giving your life, and then this happened?
Yeah.
Wow.
So it was very difficult for me to give my life to Christ, because I'm coming from football and I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to give my life to Christ. From today, I'm going to change. Until this thing happened to me, it was so painful, painful. And when I got at home and my sister, they were talking about Christ, they were talking about God, I just told them, I don't want to hear about this God. So they knew there was something up, because I'm never used to be like that. You know, when I'm talking about God, I don't get angry. But when the sitting room, you know, talking about God, say, you know, you guys shut up about this God. You know, if it's really God, you know, then where was he? You know, and that's when I start opening up to them. You know, if God was there for me, you know, how come he didn't protect me? If he really loves me, if he cares for me, how come he didn't protect me? How come he didn't keep me from that? So when I came to a point where, you know, the foreign day, before the foreign day, my dad spoke to me and he said, don't worry, that thing is easy to replace, but you need to thank God that your life is safe. He could have killed you, he could have done something worse, because we see in the news people get stabbed for the mobile phones, you know, whatever. But he said, just thank God that you're alive, that you did not die. So I went to my room and I started thinking, I said, okay, God forgive me for getting angry, you know, but so I started changing slowly through that way, because I knew, okay, God protected me, he kept me. And that's when I started hearing that voice again, like, you know, God saved you, he protected you, he guided you. So you have to just give your life to Christ and change, because the lifestyle you're living is not good. So that's when I started changing slowly, coming out from stealing. It was very difficult, because I would go into shop, any shop, I would go with an empty bag and I would come out with things. Even if there's a security guard there, he will not know, because, you know, for me to get away, I used to pretend that I'll just buy a small thing and walk away with the stuff. So that's how, you know, I used to get away with it. But it came to a point where even in the shop, one day I got caught and the guy began to threaten me, because he was not from this country, you know, he was from a different country. So maybe he was using that mentality back home where, you know, they will begin to threaten you,
Yeah.
you know, don't do this.
Wow.
So that's when I like, this guy is really dangerous.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
that's
wow.
when I began to stop thinking about my life, thinking about my future. So I start changing slowly back that way. So the only way I can encourage is just support your children.
Yeah.
You know, be there for them, show them love, pray for them also. You know, I remember my mom used to pray. You know, I would hear my mom praying for us. You know, that's what made us, you know, to change as well. Because my mom would not sleep. She would cry at midnight hour. And sometimes she would even gather us around in a room, you know, to pray together. But even though I feel like, no, mom, you know, she would be there praying, but I just be there like, this is waste of my time. But see, prayer works. Even though I was like, no, you know, why are you wasting my time? I should be on my bed sleeping. But through that way, you know, prayers changes things.
Amen.
Yeah.
Wow. My viewers, you've heard the testimony. You have heard how he started stealing at age of 11. Wow. When I see my 11-year-old and I can't imagine. No. So may God help us. May God just give us wisdom and understanding how to raise our children in this generation. It's not easy and it's not difficult as well. So God will give us and guide us. As you've heard, the mother did not stop praying. Oh my God, a wonderful mother, a loving mother, never stopped praying. So a mom always used to call them. Yeah, I know sometimes when you call them for prayer, their face is grumpy, their face is different, like, you're wasting my time. Pray that demon out. Pray that spirit out. Yeah. As you hear, God saved him at the age of 17. Wow. So at the age of 17, did you you know, like when you're in church, like me, when I got born again, I still got tempted. Did you ever like feel like stealing?
Well, sometimes I feel like going back because,
yeah,
you know, you still want things, you see later stuff,
so
and you're tempted.
how did you overcome that? When that thought comes, because I want you to help somebody who has made a decision today that I'm not going to steal. But yeah, tomorrow when I see that nice phone, I'm going to be tempted. So how did you like empower yourself that no, resist? How did you do that? Because we want to help a viewer that is going through that so they can overcome that as well.
We just have to be strong, try to control yourself.
Yeah.
You know, because I remember now, you know, it was difficult. Sometimes you feel like going back, you feel like, no, I need this. But at the same time, you feel like, you know, it was very difficult for me to steal because it became really hard, you know, because when I stopped, I couldn't do it again. I felt like somebody's watching me.
Wow.
I felt like, you know, I've been surrounded. So
you start fearing God.
Yeah, start fearing God even more because through the church, you know, they will talk about fearing God. So I'm like, no, this is not right. Let me just live life in the right way. I remember there's a time where we went somewhere and this guy forgot his phone, mobile phone, just right there in front of us on the table. And I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, nah, I'm just going to leave it there.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes you can take and just give it at the counter, but we didn't have time for that. You know, so he came back like 30 minutes later. He found the phone there and like, hey, thank God. You know, he looked at us and, you know, we are black and sitting at the table and he's white and like,
you didn't take it?
Like, he didn't take it. This is, you know, he was shocked. He was over shocked.
Yeah.
And we just started laughing because that was not me anymore. That was not my, you know, my life anymore, just to take something that does not belong to me. So he was so glad he left and like, wow, you know, 3 black boys sitting there, didn't even touch the phone.
That's a very black label to be labeled for black boys. You know,
Yeah.
when people see black boys, black ethnic, they just see gangster, they just see bad thing out of them, and it's not nice. Okay, wow, what a powerful testimony. I wanted to ask you a question. Oh my, but that's a very powerful question. I mean, testimony, how you overcame. Now, Pastor, I hear you call yourself Pastor, you are young. How did you get here? Because from stealing to a pastor, from a thief to a pastor. Wow.
You know, it was, you know, growing, it's good to raise your children in God. Because I remember where we used to go to church back home, you know, in Kenya. And Sunday school, I used to love Sunday school a lot. And, you know, the way they would teach the word of God, like, you know, children obey your parents. So that thing was like, it was in me. And I remember after coming out of church, you know, I would go home and I would read the Bible and I would look at myself for a reflection, and I'll start shouting, children, obey obey your parents, for this is right, so that you may live long life. So I was just preaching to myself, and I didn't know there was a big crowd of children sitting there listening. So it came to a point like when my uncle opened the curtain and he saw me preaching, and he was trying to encourage me to continue. So I shut down and I just closed the Bible, went back me playing as a child, and at the background, children are clapping. So when I came to this country now, God started showing me that vision, that I'm calling you so that you can change nation. But it was a very difficult thing, because now God was after my life. Even though when I was stealing, God was to speak to me that please don't walk this way. You're gonna get yourself into prison. You're gonna regret. It's not gonna be easy life. So I started changing slowly from that. And God will just speak to me like, I've called you, I've called you, I've called you. And He will give me a vision that how He saved my life. When we was coming to this country, when we got on the plane, there was something wrong with the plane, and he was about to lift off, but one of the pilots said no. He saw the light flashing, so he stopped to take off. And God said, remember how I saved you. You could have died in that plane. Anything could have happened. So from that moment, like, God will always show me that vision how He saved me. So I started changing my life slowly, got born again. From that way, gave my life, I got saved. So when God started pushing me in that area, that's when I say, God is really calling me. So I started serving in the house of God, equipment, set up the equipment, cleaning the church. That's when I knew that God has really called me. So from there, I start, following the calling. It was not easy because you're young, you want to fit in with the crowd. So it came to a point where when I used to call my friends, that I'm saved, they didn't want anything to hear about, me being saved. Sometimes they would encourage me to go club and say, that's not my life. I'm not going to live that life. That's not me. I'm a different person. It was difficult, but I will still push. It's not going to be easy.
But you're a pastor. You're a young pastor. I'm sure you're not in your 40s. You're still you're playing 30s, yeah? So, a young guy there, 30, and you're a pastor, they're thinking, oh, they admire you, they want to be there, they want to be strong in God, but they can't. So how do you keep that persistence? Like, because you're young, I understand, and you're strong, and I know prayer works. So how can you encourage a young man watching us? He want to be in God, but his addiction keeps stopping him every now and then, as we're coming to an end of the show.
Well, the only way you just have to, if God, because not all of us have been called to be a pastor, but if you're in that place where you want to change, it's not going to be easy. Living the old life is going to be tough, but you just have to keep fighting. So no, this is not the way I want to go. This is the way. So you have to have that kind of mentality where I really want to change, because if people can pray for you, but if you're not willing to change, it's going to be difficult. People can pray for you, they can lay hands on you, but it has to come from you. You have to come to that place where you say, I surrender. And when you surrender, God comes in and take care of you. You see, it was very hard, because I remember I used to tell even the pastor, how come you're not doing this, encouraging the youth, telling them, this and that. Why don't you tell them the truth? And he said, no, as long as the church is packed, that's what it matters. As long that, they're giving offering, that's what it matters. But I said, no, you have to really change these people. You have to come to a point where don't look at the offering, look at the life of these people, you see. So it comes to a point where you just have to make a difference. Sometimes you're going to see things that you don't like in church, but you have to be a light. You have to make a difference.
Yes.
And that's so many people, they backslide, they go back because they've come to church and they feel the church is meant to be a perfect place. A church where people are broken, people, they're going through some things. You will find somebody offended you, but you have to make a difference, and that's what God opens your eyes so you can see where you can be able to fix that area where it's going wrong. Yeah, so the only way thing that if you're there, you're struggling, continue fighting. Don't give up, and also, it was very hard. I remember, to steal, for me to stop was difficult. I would go into the shop, even though I even have money, I would not want to spend. I just want to steal because, you just want an easy thing, easy way out. keeping your money safe, buy something else. So, it was very difficult.
So sometimes you will be tested, you will be tried.
Yeah.
Because I remember one time you did see a wallet full of money when you went to a supermarket, and you called that guy and you gave him, and you didn't have money that time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was difficult,
Yeah.
but I felt like maybe this is God's opening door for me.
Yeah.
But I said no, it's not good, because this guy just came in with his family to buy their own shopping. So I said, you know what? I said, excuse me, and I gave him the wallet, and you can see the wallet was packed of money. And like, this is too much. Let me just take. But something was telling me, no, this, you need to know who you are. Remember, you just came from that life. That's not you anymore.
So our viewers, if you're there, you need to understand, every time you try to change, there will be trials, there will be temptation. As we've spoke before, you have to be willing, as our pastor have told us, all those steps. And if you haven't watched that video, I'm going to link it on this down below, on the link below, of 10 tips of how I overcame. They're all there, and some of the tips he mentioned them. So make sure you go back and watch it. That's a very powerful testimony. Let's empower our children. Let's encourage them. Start when they're young. Start when they're young, and you'll be okay. So thank you so much, Reverend, for honoring my invite to our show. May God bless you. Your mom must be a very happy mother at the moment.
Yeah, she's very happy, because every time she hears my testimony, she's always like, I didn't know you went through all those things.
Wow.
So that's why I'm always encouraging her, don't give up, because your prayer works.
Amen.
You can always just continue praying. Even my other brother who come out of it, just continue praying. Don't stop.
Yeah. So
I thank God for that, because it was through her prayers.
She prayed in a secret.
Yeah. And sometimes you feel the pain, you will see the pain, even though she will not share the pain. Why my children like this? I didn't raise them up like this. But it becomes like influence out there. So we don't blame the parents. They do their best.
Oh, yes,
they do what they can, and we really appreciate them.
Yeah.
And that's why sometimes I look back, how my dad used to be. He was a strict guy.
Yeah.
And
by the way, thank you for bringing that topic. The other question people are asking about they were asking about freedom. Yeah, freedom. I want us to tackle that. I know. Wow. Time is gone, but let's talk about freedom. You mentioned something about your dad. I just remembered something about, before we came, you told me something. So I want you to mention it, please, about freedom. What makes kids freedom? You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it was very difficult. As I said, my dad was very strict. How he would not want you to go out, because he was trying to protect us, from all the bad things happening to us.
Yeah.
So he was very strict. He would not let us go out. He just want us to stay indoors, read,
be good kids.
Be good kids, He want us, to be the best.
Amen.
So he would do so many things. Like, he was very strict. There's a time that even he bought books, hundreds of books, and we have to go through it. And sometimes it was difficult, because you want to be out there, to have fun with your friends, playing football. But it came to a point where now it was very strict. So sometimes we will sneak out the house, and when we go out the house, we don't want to come back in because of the fun of out there, because the parents being restricted.
Too strict.
Yeah.
Too strict.
So,
and I get you, because sometimes even my parents, oh Lord, only God knows. Yeah, they were strict. Yeah, they were strict.
Yeah.
Like, even going to your auntie or going to your neighbor is a big deal to them.
Yeah.
So, so you mean parents should at least give kids not too freedom, but at least let them go outside and play, not just inside, innit?
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Mother James, if you're watching. Thank you for the prayer. It really worked. And look at the product of prayer. This is the product called prayer. And I've met your mom. I've met your mom, and she is a powerful woman of God. And you know what she told me? That she used to go to church, and every time they call for prayer requests, she used to have only one prayer request: my children. Every time they call for prayer requests, she will stand up and go, yeah, I have a prayer request. My children. My goodness.
Yeah.
You need to pray for your children. Prayer works. Prayer works. Prayer works. So we salute you, Mother. Thank you so much for the prayer. It really works. May God bless you. If you're a mother, please pray for your children. Sometimes you might not know what they're doing. They can hide. They can do it. You don't know. They come back home. They're clean. You don't understand. But pray in the secret. Pray in the secret. As I told you, prayer is the only weapon. As I said, a prayer of a mother changed me. A prayer of a father changed us as well. You know, sometimes, Father, we don't want to leave you out. Don't feel like your prayer doesn't work. It does work. So thank you so much, Pastor James. Thank you for honoring our invite. Thank you for empowering someone, even for you to come out and tell parents, like, look, I went to steal because I did not have this and this and that. So thank you so much, because I want them to educate them. I want them to know that when they give their children, it's not you're spoiling them, is you're just providing, because the system have changed. You know, when our parents were growing, nobody cared what they wore. You know, nobody cared. You know, even now, my dad can wear any trainer. It doesn't mean anything to him. If you give your dad any trainer, he'll say it's nice. But you try and give your son any trainer, it will be in the. I bought my son one trainer until today. It's still in the storage. So I end up wearing it because I like it. Yeah, but they laugh because it's not cool. But to me, we are in that age where we don't care anymore. But obviously, I don't want to look cool. God bless you so much. Thank you. Watch out for part 2 of this. And we're going to continue of how now he became ordained. Now he became a pastor. He started pastoring people. I think you need to tell them who I am now. Who am I to you?
Well, as I said before,
yeah,
you know, I'm married.
Yeah.
I'm married to one beautiful wife, and that's Pastor Rab, Reverend Rab.
Yeah.
You know, we are blessed with 4 children. As I said, 3 at the beginning. It's 4 boys.
Wow.
I mean, 3 boys and 1 daughter, and we thank God for that.
How many kids do you have?
4.
Okay. All right, thank you so much, guys. Yeah, so as I wanted to say, I've worked with you, as obviously I'm your wife, and I've seen you pastor people who are older than you, like since we started. So next video, I want us to talk about what kind of, you know, it must be very challenging. You're on your 30s, but sometimes you pastor people who are 50, 60, you know, and it's a blessing. It's a blessing.
Thank God.
Yeah. So stay tuned. Watch out for part 2 of how God started using him, how he transformed life, and how things start changing, and how his friend now start looking for you for a change. So stay tuned. May God bless you. Thank you so much for being friends of Real Talk Show. May God bless you. May God honor you in Jesus' name. We're praying for your children. We're praying for you, and I know you are blessed. So the final word for our viewers, just maybe an encouraging word as we close the show.
What I can say, just stay strong. Continue praying for your children. Don't give up on them, you know, because God is using them. You know, step by step, soon they will come with a testimony. Like my mom never knew that, you know, I used to steal, you know, but it came to a point where she heard my testimony and she's shocked. But I thank God for that. So continue praying for them. You know, they will come out soon. So stay tuned for part 2. We'll continue to talk about more, you know, more stuff. And I thank God for tuning in. May God bless you. Make sure you subscribe, amen.
Amen.
And God bless you.
Also, Reverend James has a channel. It's called Redeem House Ministry. And subscribe to his channel as well, and you shall be blessed. He's always live every Sunday. You can be blessed with the word of God. He's always powerfully preaching on that channel. So if you are there, especially at this season, COVID-19, there's nothing to do. Just go in his channel, type in, you will see different series. You know, listen to any of them. You shall be blessed. You shall be uplifted. Until next time, stay blessed.